Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to this new series of videos that we are going to post in our channel. We have found that you people have posted a lot of questions in our comments section. So we decided to answer those questions in these type of videos. Today I'll be dealing with two questions. When was the Jiva created and when did the cycle of karma start? Before you get into this video, please make sure that you have watched our previous video regarding karma. If you have already watched that video, you can continue watching this video. So there are these two questions. When was the Jiva created? And of course, if it's assumed that this Jiva was created at some point of time, the second question arises, why was he created? But the answer to the first question holds the answer to the second one. Or maybe it makes sure that the second question doesn't arise. When was the Jiva created? The Śāstras say the Jiva was never created. In the Upanishads, you find many verses such as Na jayate mriyate va vipaschita dva vajau ishanishau nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. These are verses found in the Upanishads which clearly mention that the Jiva was never created. Na jayate. He is never created. He is never born. So Jiva as an entity is never born, never created. Then how can we call Bhagavan the creator? He is called the Jagat Karanam, the one who has created everything. If Bhagavan hasn't created Jivas, how can he be termed as Jagat Karanam, the creator? We must understand what creation actually means. In Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta, in Ramanuja Sampradaya, we say that there are three basic things in this world, the tattvas we call. There are three of them. One is the Ishvara, that is the Bhagavan. The other one is the Jiva. And the third one is Prakriti. Prakriti is non-sentient. Jiva is sentient. Bhagavan is also sentient and is also omniscient. So among these three, we say that all three are eternal. That is, they are not created nor destroyed. So what does Bhagavan do? Now it's very important to understand what creation is actually. When we say that a potter has created a pot, we don't mean that a pot was created out of nothing, out of nowhere, but rather clay was turned into a pot. So a creator of pot doesn't create something out of nothing. Similarly, when we say that Bhagavan created these worlds, that is the non-sentient things, we never mean that he created it out of nothing. But actually, the Prakriti is always present. He transforms Prakriti into what we see today as this world, as these things and all. So Bhagavan is a creator. What he does is, he transforms Prakriti, which is in a very subtle form, Sukshma Rupa, into Sthula Rupa, into what we perceive today. That is Bhagavan's creation. That is where Bhagavan gets involved. Similarly, when we talk about Jivas being created, what it actually means is, you'll see that Prakriti itself is transformed into something else, but Jiva is Nirvikara. He doesn't transform into something else, but rather his state or his qualities are transformed. When the creation hadn't begun, in the Pralaya Dasha, Jiva was in a very subtle state. His knowledge, his jnanam was in a very subtle state. And when Bhagavan created, he gave him the ability to know, to act and all. So Jivatma as an entity is Nirvikara, doesn't go through any transformation, but his qualities such as his knowledge and all, they are transformed, and that transformation is called creation. That's all. So Jiva from a subtle state is transformed into a active state, and that doesn't mean Jiva has changed, but rather his qualities, some of his qualities, mainly his knowledge, his jnanam has changed. That is what we call creation, the change of state of this Jivatma. So Bhagavan when he is called creator, it doesn't mean he creates things out of nowhere, but rather he transforms them. That is the definition of creation. And that can be found everywhere. In our world, we can never create something out of nothing, right? So, there is something which may be subtle or in a different state, which is transformed into a different state. That is what Bhagavan also does. So, basically, all the three tattvas are eternal, but the Prakriti, the entity called Prakriti itself, the Swarupa of Prakriti itself transforms. The Jiva itself doesn't transform, but its qualities, mainly its jnanam, it goes through a transformation. And Bhagavan, he is always the same. Bhagavan's Swarupam never goes through any kind of transformation. So all these three are eternal. So Jiva was never created. Even in the Brahma Sutras, it has been said, Natma Shruter Nityatvacha Tabhyaha. The Atma is never created. He is never born. We understand this through the Vedas. Vedavyasji says. So the first question has been answered. Once we understand that Jiva was never created, then there is no question of why was he created, how was he created and all. So there is no question itself. Now let's go to the second question. When did the cycle of karma begin? Since we have understood that Jivas have never been created, then karma, the cycle of karma, must also be anadi, exactly like the Jiva. Vedavyasa in his Brahma Sutra says, Na karma avibhagaditi chet na anaditvat upapadyate cha pyupalabhyate cha. This is a very interesting sutra. The question here is, it is found in the Upanishads that before creation, there was just Bhagavan or the Brahman, the Sat. So the questioner asks, if there was only Brahman present, then there could have been no karma. And if there was no karma, how can the creator create this world with so many differences? We find that someone is rich, someone is poor, someone is intelligent, someone is not. So there are a lot of differences found in this creation. If at all there was only Brahman present before the creation and there was no karma, on which basis did Bhagavan create a world with so many differences in it? So Vedavyasji says, no, there was no time when karma was not present. It is beginningless, he says. Anaditvat. Anadi, that which is beginningless. There are two interpretations given to this word anadi. One is the most prevalent one, that is, that which is beginningless. Anadi is equal to that which has no beginning. And some people also interpret it as whose beginning cannot be known. Ajñāta ādi desi. So two interpretations. That which has no beginning or whose beginning can never be known. Mostly our acharyas consider anadi to be beginningless. That which has no beginning. So it has always been this way. One karma led to another karma, which led to another karma, which led to another karma. We have spoken about this in detail in the previous video. So there is no point of time in which the first karma arose. If there is one karma today, there must have always been a karma preceding that. And if we go on looking for that, we will find that there is no beginning. One karma led to another, that led to another, and that led to another. And so on, the cycle of karma is going on and on and on. Now, there is this question that may arise. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jātasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. That which has a beginning will surely end. It implies that which has no beginning can never end. Going by that logic, if the cycle of karma had no beginning, then how can it come to an end? So maybe we are eternally damned to be in this karmic cycle where we take on births again and suffer and again take a birth, again suffer and so on. No, we must understand that karma is not a single entity, right? A karma was born, an action was taken, and it was gone when we finish that action. There is this punyam or papam that is remaining till we experience a result of that karma, of that punyam or papam. Once we have experienced the result of punyam and papam, that punyam and papam, which is adrishtam, is also gone. So one karma leads to another karma or a result, and it is dead. It is gone. Now the second karma, this will be gone at a point of time. Most probably it must have resulted in another karma, which will stay for some time. But there is no single karma which will stay forever. So, when it is said that an entity which is born comes to an end, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuh, yes, of course, this karma was created, it came to an end. But the cycle of karma, which is not a single entity, it may have no beginning, but still have an end, because it is not a single entity. What happens is, at some point of time, through the grace of Bhagavan, through the grace of Acharya, we can make sure that there is this karma, but that karma doesn't lead to another karma. We have seen how a karma leads to another karma through ajnanam, vasana, ruchi and all. Through Bhagavan's grace, if we make sure that another karma is not accumulated, then that's all. This karma, of course, will give its results. It will vanish. And there will be some karma which will vanish due to Bhagavan's grace. Because we have seen in the previous video that karma is nothing but impressions created in Bhagavan's memory. If Bhagavan chooses to forget them, of course, he is omnipotent. He can do anything he wants. And he can erase every karma in a moment, in a second, through his sankalpa. So, this cycle of karma, which doesn't have a beginning, surely can have an end. It is possible through the immense grace of Bhagavan. One more point that I would like to make is that our acharyas tell us not to dwell on how this karma began, but rather concentrate on how to free ourselves from this cycle of karma. Because going by both the interpretations, the karma cycle is beginningless, or the beginning can never be known. So why waste our time thinking about, pondering over how it all started? But what we need to do is think about how we can end this cycle of karma. So it is only through Bhagavan's grace and Acharya's grace that we can do that, and hope Bhagavan's grace does fall on all of us, and let's try our best to free ourselves from this cycle of karma and join in the eternal service of Bhagavan. So let's meet in another video. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.